Lizzie Borden, one of the most memorable serial killers ever. Let's take a look. Hi, I'm your host, Professor Failure. Welcome back. If you clicked on this video, let me tell you why I'm doing this. Let's just call it the history of why I'm doing this. Okay, you probably already know who Lizzie Borden is, but if you don't, spoiler alert, she's a murderer. That pretty much defeats the whole purpose of this video, but I like horror movies, and frankly, I didn't know much about Lizzie Borden. So when I found out that she was a serial killer, I wanted to do this video. This is not nearly as bad as when John Wilkes Booth killed the president, Abraham Lincoln, but it is certainly very terrible. So before we begin, this video will not be as comedic as my other content because people die, and if you don't want to see a woman running around killing people, then this video isn't for you. It was a quiet morning in the summer of 1892 in the sleepy little town of Fall River, Massachusetts. Lizzie Borden had been outside organizing fishing supplies in the family barn. She had just returned to the house, and the family maid, Maggie Sullivan, who had just completed washing all the windows of the house, was resting in her bed. Suddenly, Lizzie had made a terrible discovery. Lizzie Borden had said, "Maggie, come down quick. Father's dead. Someone came in and killed him." Maggie rushed down to the living room where Lizzie Borden had just discovered the body of her father, Andrew Borden. Andrew Borden had only been murdered minutes after arriving home from his morning errands. Weird, huh? No one really knows who did it, but the circumstances of this tragedy and more, yes, keep audiences memorized for over 100 years. Shall we continue? Lizzie was 32 years old and still living with her father and stepmother, Abby, and her sister, Emma. But Emma wasn't at home when the bodies were discovered. And you might be thinking, bodies? How many? Well, let's answer that. There were two. Adelaide Churchill, a neighbor, had come to comfort Lizzie. She made the discovery of a second body on the second story of the house. It was the body of Abby Borden, wife of Andrew Borden and stepmother of Lizzie Borden. You may wonder, who did this? Let's read the interrogation. The man who was questioning Lizzie Borden said, "How have things been between you and your father lately? Any trouble?" And Lizzie Borden responded, "Well, we have disagreed on some things like the division of our family property, but for the most part we got along properly." And the man asked Lizzie, "Is it true that your father killed your two pet pigeons?" And she said, "Yes, he did." "And did this make you angry?" And she responded, "Yes, of course it did." Well, a little bit. He also asked, "How do you get along with your stepmother, Mrs. Borden?" She said, "Just fine, I guess. Neither me or Emma really enjoyed her company much. Father loved her so much, and we tried to keep peace in the family." "Oh, do you have any idea who did this?" she said. And he said, "That's why I'm asking so many questions." They suspected Lizzie. In fact, 1 week later she was arrested and taken to jail. At her preliminary hearing, the judge declared that she was probably guilty and ordered that she stand trial for the murder. You probably wonder how that went. It was all very interesting, and it started off with a sensational start. The prosecutor bumped into the evidence table during the opening statement. The shaking caused a large cloth bag to open and spill its contents. They were the skulls of Andrew and Abby Borden. Lizzie fainted, and the trial had to be adjourned while she recovered. Then Alice Russell, a friend of the Borden family who stayed with the Borden sisters for several days following the murders, was called in to testify. The man asking her questions asked Miss Russell, "Was there any suspicious things happening while you were staying at the Borden house?" She said, "I wandered into the kitchen and saw Lizzie burning a blue dress in the stove." The man said, "The same dress Adelaide Churchill remembered Lizzie wearing in the day in question?" She responded with, "Well, I can't be sure, but I know it was blue. I know that." The man who was questioning Alice asked what was the reason she burned the dress. Lizzie said, "I'm going to burn this old thing up. It's covered with paint." The man who was defending Lizzie used that information to defend Lizzie Borden and said, "Now, why would a guilty person burn evidence in such an open place as the kitchen?" Alice said, "I don't know." And the people asked, "Where is the handle that supposedly broke off from the axe?" The state had no answer, and after everything she was not guilty. It was a short trial, only lasting 9 days. Well, everyone, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you can see all of my other videos. And now our shoutouts. Wambui Made It is our shout out again because she has showed me so much love and my channel. Go check her channel out. Alright, bye-bye.